Beloved child, there are things I am doing that your eyes cannot yet perceive. There are moments in life that seem ordinary, but they are the very beginning of something extraordinary. Can you hear it, the sound of movement stirring in the unseen realm? I do not need thunder to announce my presence. I do not need tremors to prove my power, for I am the one who can shift heaven and earth with a single nod. You are living in a sacred moment, a moment that few recognize because they move too quickly to feel it. But I see you. I know the stirrings of your heart, the questions unanswered, and the dreams you thought had withered away. You have held on, endured, and refused to give up, even when no one understood the silent battles within you. You kept walking, even when no emotion pushed you forward. And that, yes, that moved me. Do not think I've turned away. Do not think I am silent simply because you do not yet see results. Humans look at time, but I look at growth. You count days by the clock. I count by the transformation of the soul. I am not delaying in the way you think. I am waiting until you are deep enough to contain what I am about to pour out. For I do not want you to merely touch what I give, but to carry it for a lifetime. You may not understand why everything is so quiet, why I haven't spoken, why every door seems closed, why loneliness lingers. But, my child, this is not abandonment, it is an invitation. I am drawing you into a deeper place, where stillness is no longer your enemy, but the place of encounter. I want you to recognize me not only when I bless, but also when I sit beside you in silence. Not all presence needs a voice. There are moments when I simply want you to know, I am still here, nothing more, nothing less. You once longed for a clear sign, an undeniable confirmation, a miraculous display, a prophetic word that would make everything understandable. But I chose to come to you in simplicity, in those moments when you still breathe despite despair, in the days you rise and are not consumed by pain, in sudden positive thoughts that shine through a cloudy day. These are signs just not in the way you imagined. I am the one working in every detail, in every beat of your heart, in every seemingly insignificant thought. What you call coincidence is often me. The times you almost gave up, but something held you back, that was me. When you didn't know what to pray, but tears flowed anyway, that was your deepest prayer. And I heard every drop. They are not meaningless. They are seeds for the harvest I am preparing to bring forth in your life. Tonight, child, is unlike any other night. Not because your situation changed, but because something in the spiritual realm has shifted. I have spoken. I have initiated something new. And you, even without knowing, are standing on the threshold of transformation. You do not need to see to believe. Believe and you will see. For I will not let you walk forward alone. I have gone ahead to prepare the way. What was once closed will open. What was delayed will be released. And what you thought had died I will resurrect. Even so, before clarity comes on the outside, I want to renew you from within. I do not come merely to change your circumstances, but to transform your heart. For when your mind is renewed, you will see everything differently. What once frightened you will lose its grip. What once caused you to doubt will be exposed by my light. And instead of asking why, you will begin to ask, Lord, what are you teaching me in this? I am opening your eyes not to see the future, but to see me in the present. For if you can see me here, You will stop worrying about what's next. You will no longer be torn between the past and vague fears. You will stand firm, not because you are strong, but because you know you are not alone. Be still. My child, do not seek me in the noise. Find me in the secret place, where your heart is fully bare. There, I will meet you. There, I will speak. And once you hear my voice, you will never be the same. Keep your heart tender. Keep your spirit open. For I am coming not to judge, but to lift you up, not to condemn, but to renew. And what I do, no one can hinder. There are things birthed only in silence, not because I refuse to speak, but because I want you to learn to listen. In this noisy world, my voice does not always boom like thunder. Sometimes I whisper. Sometimes I stir your soul with a fleeting feeling just to see who truly desires to hear me amid 1,000 other voices. Have you noticed that true change rarely arrives with a fanfare? But in the most unassuming moments, there are things you've waited for over many years, dreams long held, yet seemingly forgotten. Promises I placed within you from the very beginning. You thought I had forgotten, that I left you midway. But know what I sow. I water what I promise. I fulfill. Yet before I release it outwardly, I must build the foundation inwardly. No house stands firm on sand. No destiny is fulfilled without deep roots. You thought you were being delayed, but in truth, you were being prepared. Waiting is not a wasted season, it is the furnace where I purify thoughts, refine motives, and fortify faith. I am not rushed, for if I bless you at the wrong time, the blessing may crush you instead of lift you. So, child, if I wait until you are ready, what I give will not just be a gift but a calling, a sacred trust from heaven. My child, do not despise the season of sowing, even if the ground looks dry, even if no one sees anything sprouting. I am working in the unseen places. Roots are growing deep. Foundations are being strengthened. Some lessons can only be learned through tears. Some stability is only built through brokenness. And you have not fallen, though you were shaken. You were not uprooted. Though you stumbled, you did not run away. I see that faithfulness, and I remember you asked me to change your circumstances, but I chose to change you first. You prayed for an escape, but I kept you not to punish, but to protect, not because I delight in your pain, but because I know if you exit the fire too soon, you won't be able to carry the glory that's coming. Just as gold cannot be purified without fire, you cannot walk fully into your destiny without holy brokenness. Perhaps you ask, why hasn't anything changed yet? And I say to you, maybe because what I'm doing within you isn't finished. Maybe because there are things I need to remove: pride, fear, doubt, unhealthy dependence on people. I don't want you to lean on fragile crutches. I want you to place your full weight on me. When you stop relying on your skills, connections, or past, and start relying on my presence, that's when you're ready. Do you remember the times I closed a door you thought was an opportunity? You were angry. You cried. You questioned. But later you saw, if I hadn't blocked it, you would have walked into defeat. Do you remember those who walked away? And you felt abandoned, but their departure cleared the path for an unshackled future. What you call loss is sometimes my protection. What you thought was an ending was really a beginning, and I, who see the end from the start, orchestrated it all to bring you here. Look back, and you will see my hand everywhere, in the surprises, in the disappointments, in delayed dreams, and even the seemingly pointless pain. Every moment, every detail is woven into a larger tapestry, and when you find your place in that design, you will realize nothing was meaningless. Every wound became a gateway for light. Every breakdown a piece in the rebuilding. I never promised you'd avoid dry seasons, but I promised to create streams in the desert. I never said you wouldn't feel alone, but I vowed never to leave you. I won't shield you from every trial, but I will turn every trial into proof of my faithfulness. And every moment you hold your faith is a moment you partner with heaven to prepare for what's coming. So let me finish the work I've started in your heart. Let silence deepen you, not discourage you. Let unanswered days grow your faith. And when the time is right, you'll see what once made you weep will become the wellspring of praise. Child, how many times did you think I was absent just because you couldn't feel me? How many times did you measure my presence by your emotions? Then assume I had withdrawn, but my love is not bound by your feelings. My power is not limited by your emotional state. Even when your heart feels barren, even when your faith trembles, I am still there, unchanged. You asked, Lord, where were you in my pain? And I tell you, I sat beside your bed on those sleepless nights. I held up your hands when you had no strength. I kept your heart from breaking when it seemed it couldn't bear one more ache. But I didn't arrive with noise. I don't force my way in. I come in quietness, because I want you to learn to recognize me not by volume, but by deep knowing. I am not like man, who loves loudly. I love by preserving silently. When you breathe, it is I who give life. When you walk through chaos, it is I who uphold you. When you don't lose your mind in trial, it is I keeping your thoughts in peace that surpasses understanding. Yet I know this is hard to notice, for the world teaches that power must be loud. But I am different. I am the Almighty found in the small. My child, I have been working in your life in ways you never imagined. You searched for a grand miracle, but I have performed quiet interventions. I have blocked disasters you never saw. I have redirected relationships that would have harmed you. I have dissolved schemes against you before they even took shape, and you did not know it. For I do not need trumpets to proclaim salvation. I only need you to be safe even when you don't see me. My child, I have never ceased to move. Each day, I continue to paint wonders into the canvas of your life, using the brushstrokes of mercy and the light of wisdom. You need only open your eyes, not the physical ones, but your spiritual sight to behold my fingerprints in the simplest things, in a message that arrives at just the right time, in the grasp of a hand reaching for yours in the midst of collapse, in a song you stumble upon that unexpectedly heals your soul. These small things are me whispering, I am still here. Endure, my beloved. You do not need to run far and wide in search of me. I am not distant. I dwell within you. I am in your breath, in your slow and steady steps through the ordinary. I do not wait for you in supernatural experiences, but in daily faithfulness. When you forgive, though, you are hurt. I am there. When you choose love over bitterness, I am there. When you refuse to compromise with darkness, even when no one sees, I am there. For in those quiet acts, you reflect my image most clearly. You may think I only appear when you sing praises or pray out loud, but you do not realize that when you simply continue in faithfulness, when you do the right thing, even when no one acknowledges it, that is when I am most pleased. I do not measure you by your emotions or by how many times you feel moved. I measure you by your devotion silent, steadfast, unwavering, and my child. I see that quiet clinging. It is more precious to me than any fleeting flame. It is in the unseen season that I am laying the foundation for something great. Do not think the silence is wasted time. That is when your roots are going deep. That is when I am building an unshakable foundation. And when the great wind comes, you will stand, not because you are strong enough, but because you are built upon the rock. I am that rock. I do not change. What I begin, I complete. What I plant, I protect. So do not fear the darkness. Do not fear the silence. They are not signs that I have abandoned you, but invitations to learn to listen not just with ears, but with the heart. For if you can perceive me in the stillness, then no storm that comes will be able to disorient you. If you learn to trust when you see nothing, then when the brilliance arrives, you will not become proud, but instead bow in worship. I do not come only to change your circumstances. I come to transform you to make you like me, unshakable, not dependent on recognition, not governed by emotion, but rooted in the knowing that I am present, even when all is quiet. And my child, when you live in that certainty, you will carry peace to others. For this world is weary, longing for what is real, and what is real does not come from outward shine, but from inward stillness. Be steadfast. My child, trust me even when you feel nothing. Keep walking, one step at a time, for I am going before you. Not every journey begins with a trumpet blast. Some begin with a whisper, and that very whisper, if you will listen, will lead you into the land I have promised, where nothing is forgotten, where every hope will be restored, where you will know I have been with you from the beginning. Now, my child, the hour has come. I am no longer working, only in silence. Now I begin to move openly. What was hidden is coming to light. What stirred in the spirit is now echoing into the physical, though your eyes do not yet see the full picture. The foundation is shaking. The gate is opened. Something you longed for, prayed for, perhaps thought was forgotten, is now being set in motion. I know how often you've asked, Lord, when? And now I say, right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel strong enough, wise enough, or worthy by your own standard, but this very moment, as you surrender, as you place your full trust in my hands and cease striving to control everything yourself. That is when you not only allow me to intervene, but invite me to reign. And I never refuse a surrendered heart. Know this, every movement in heaven begins with a decision in your heart. When you let go of fear, when you choose faith over doubt, when you keep praying though you have no words left, these open the door I've been knocking on all along. And when you open it, I enter not as a stranger, but as a king, a kind king, come to establish a new order, to reclaim what the enemy has stolen, to restore what was once shattered. You may have thought I would arrive with overwhelming force, but no, I come with wisdom. I do not overturn with a storm, but with strategy. I do not tear down with gales, but with careful alignment. Soon, you will see how the seemingly random pieces begin to fit. Relationships that once seemed insignificant will become vital. Things that once appeared useless will become key links in my divine chain of action. Because I do not work halfway. What I prepare even in the dark will bear fruit in the light. Do not be surprised when sudden changes come. Someone leaves. A door closes. An opportunity slips away. Do not panic. These are not losses, but pruning for greater planting. I never take without giving. But I only release the new when you are willing to let go of the old. And readiness is not in your hands, but in your heart. When you let go, I begin to move. When you let me lead, you will no longer stumble in the dark. My beloved, I am clearing the path ahead of you. What once hindered you will now be removed. What once made you retreat will become the launching pad for your faith. I am showing you there is no obstacle my power cannot overcome. But more than that, I am shaping you into someone who can walk that path. You are not only the receiver of the miracle, you are part of it. I did not come merely to change your situation, but to change your nature. Do you remember Moses? He wasn't rescued from the wilderness, he was prepared in it. Do you remember David? He wasn't called king while seated on a throne, but while tending sheep in obscurity. And my child, it is when you feel most forgotten that I am shaping you for a glory your eyes have never seen. Now, that time has come, and I will not let your years pass in vain. Every faithful day, every rejected temptation, every tear shed in trust, I have counted them all. You will see what was once silent will burst into life. Dreams that seemed dead will sprout again. Hearts once closed will open to you, not because you changed them, but because I went before you and softened them. Not because you are strong, but because my favor rests on you. That favor will open paths, build bridges, and grant you access where others were denied. For I am the one who gives grace in the most unexpected moments. Still, do not let pride tempt you on this journey. When what I promised begins to take form, remember it is not because you are deserving, but because I am faithful. When you enter a season of abundance, recall the days no one saw. When you are recognized, do not forget the nights you wept in secret. I was there, and I am still here. My glory I do not share, not as decoration, but as light to pierce the darkest places in the human heart. So walk on, my child. Walk with the confidence that I am moving. Do not wait for clarity to believe. Believe, and then you will see. Follow the guidance, even if it defies human reasoning. For what I am doing transcends logic. I am preparing something no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart has imagined. But to you, who love me, I will reveal it. When I move, no power can stop me. I do not merely open the road ahead, I break every chain behind you. The things that once bound you, fear, shame, painful memories, I am stripping them of their control. You are no longer defined by the past, no longer bowed under old accusations, for I am the one who lifts every burden. I do not merely wipe your tears, I place power in your hands so that you no longer live defeated. You may not realize it, but you have fought many unseen battles. Attacks were launched against you without your knowing, but I stood between you and the enemy. When hell formed strategies against you, I dismantled them. When darkness tried to engulf you, I lit the flame, and now I am not just defending, I am advancing. I am reclaiming lost ground and restoring the pieces of your life once thought gone forever. There have been curses spoken over your life by those who did not understand you, or by your own lips in moments of despair. But now I am revoking them. Their power is broken. The shadows that haunted your sleep, the silent accusations that said you were not enough, those are being stripped away like tattered robes. For I do not call you by your past, but by a new name, aligned with the destiny I wrote for you from the beginning. From this moment, you are no longer the one being chased, but the one sent forth, no longer the one who hides, but the one who walks in authority. The very things that once made you tremble will now witness your boldness. The forces that once intimidated you will see your strength. For when I am with you, no weapon forged against you shall prosper. Can you see it? I am changing the wind. The wind that once resisted you will now push you forward. The river that once blocked your way will part. The mountain that once blocked your view will be leveled. For this is no longer your battle, it is mine, and I never lose. There are dreams you've abandoned, thinking they were too far off, but I am breathing life into them again. There are promises you thought were for others, but I am confirming now, you are the one I've chosen. Not the perfect one, but the surrendered one, not the flawless, but the one who always returns when they fall. And I love you not because you've never been broken, but because you've allowed me to mend you. My child, there were doors you once knocked on endlessly, yet they remained shut. Now, I am giving you the key. There is no need to knock any longer, I will open them. And those doors will not merely be a way out, but a way in, leading you to the promised land, to things far beyond your expectations. Remember, I am the faithful one to those who place their trust in me. Yet you must be ready. Do not cling to the old when I am calling you into the new. Do not hold tightly to your comfort zone when I am beckoning you into the land of promise, for safety without me becomes bondage. Know this, even when the road ahead is unclear, if I am with you, you need not fear. My light will illuminate each step, and every step, however trembling, will lead you to the place I have prepared. I know there were times you doubted, times when you wondered, is this truly for me? And I say, yes, it is for you, not because you are strong, but because you are weak and have learned to lean on me. Not because you are worthy, but because I chose you long before you realized you needed me. Your destiny did not begin the moment you understood, but the moment I called your name out of the unseen. Now I am giving you new eyes to see, a new heart to believe, and new feet to walk with unwavering steps. What once bound you, I now break. What once clouded your vision, I now cleanse, and what once caused you to doubt, I will use to reveal my glory. So walk as one who is liberated. Lift your head as one who is affirmed. Speak as one with authority. For you have not only been forgiven, you have been commissioned. You have not only been healed, you have been equipped. You have not only been protected, you have been sent to transform the world around you. My child, there is one thing you must understand clearly. The greatest miracles often do not arrive with noise, but in the stillness of what seems ordinary. You expected an earth-shaking event, an explosive moment that would make all people acknowledge my work. But I chose to come quietly, not because I am weak, but because I know how to appear exactly where your heart needs me most. I do not need to prove myself with grand gestures. My humble presence alone is enough to shake the universe within you. You ask me to rend the heavens, to perform miracles like in the days of old, to part the sea before your eyes. But, my child, you have not yet realized that I have been doing wonders every single day. Was it not I who sustained you through days that felt impossible? Was it not I who placed provision into your hands at the exact moment when all resources had run dry, and you thought that was just coincidence? No. My child, that was me. That was my power, clothed in the ordinary, waiting to see if you would recognize it. When encouragement came just as you were about to give up, that was me. When one small door opened among 1,000 closed ones, that was me. When your soul found peace in the middle of a storm that no one else understood, it was not your strength, but my embrace. But you were so busy searching for the spectacular that you missed what I was offering in gentleness. I do not blame you, but I invite you open your spiritual eyes to see me in every seemingly mundane moment. There are changes that have already taken place, you simply have not noticed. There is protection that has surrounded you not by high walls or armed guards, but by my hand. You were not swallowed by sorrow, not crushed by failure, not dragged down by lies. That is a miracle. I have not only rescued you from the worst, but I have preserved you through what others could not endure. You have asked many times, Lord, when will my miracle come? And I answer, it has already come. But you were looking for a different form. You thought the extraordinary must look majestic. You thought deliverance must arrive in a single grand moment, with blinding light and a resounding voice. But I have delivered you day by day, breath by breath, little by little. And now, the miracle is no longer on its way. It is already woven into your life, alive and ongoing. My beloved child, I do not promise that every miracle will be visible to the naked eye. Some things can only be perceived through faith. That is why I am calling you into a new sensitivity, not to see what is dazzling, but to recognize what is sacred. For a heart of gratitude will discern the miracle in daily bread. A soul that trusts will see my hand even when there is no prophecy. And one who walks in the Spirit will know, greatness does not always come with thunder. It comes with breath. I am not distant. On the contrary, I am nearer than ever. You do not need to climb high to find me. I dwell in the places you consider small. When you speak to the weary, when you hold the hand of the one who stumbles, when you remain patient, though no one notices, these are the moments when you partner with me to perform wonders. I do not need a lofty throne. I only need a sincere heart. Do not dismiss the ordinary. Within it, I am blooming the miraculous. You think you are living an ordinary day. But no, you are walking through a sacred hour. You think you are repeating the same cycle. But truly, I am breaking the old and establishing the new. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, is recorded. Every whispered prayer, however simple, is preserved. Every fragile hope you hold on to is a seed for the harvest to come. And I promise you this, you will see fruit. Not all at once, but in layers. Not in the form you expect, but in the way I have determined. I will give you the best, not the easiest. Because I do not merely want to satisfy you, I want to mature you. And it is the miracles in the everyday that will guard you from pride and from dependency on emotion. My child, miracles are not always moments. They are sometimes entire journeys. You have already begun that journey. You are living within a miracle, and it will grow day by day. Do not wait for the spectacular. Open your eyes to see what is blossoming from within. Live as one who has been touched, for the truth is, I have touched you, and I will not stop. My child, now is the time for you to emerge from hiding. The season of sheltering has ended. The season of release is beginning. I have not only prepared you to be healed, but to be sent. Not sent as one bearing wounds, but as an instrument forged in fire, tempered by time, and now ready to echo heaven's decree upon the earth. I did not lead you through the trials just for your own breakthrough. I did it so that through you, others would find their way. The pain you endured was not in vain. It has become a language of empathy. It has made you a refuge for wandering souls. For you do not speak from theory, but from experience. You do not preach from intellect, but reveal through life, and that is what will make them listen. I know a part of you still hesitates. A voice whispers, I'm not enough. But my child, I do not choose the qualified, I qualify the chosen. When I called you, I accounted for your weaknesses, your past, your faults, and still I called you. That alone reveals that my grace does not depend on your perfection, but on your obedience, and I see in you a real obedience trembling. Incomplete, yet true. I am calling you to step out of your comfort zone, not to leave you floundering, but to bring you into the place where my power is revealed. As long as you cling to control, I can only act within limits. But when you open your hands, when you cease to rely on your own calculations, that is when I do what no one can explain by ordinary logic. You will walk like one who does not know the full path, but knows well the one who leads. There are people waiting for your voice. There are souls in need of the light that comes from you. You don't need to stand on a stage. Sometimes it's just a whisper, an act of love, a quiet presence beside the weary enough to shatter the chains inside their hearts. You don't need to become something grand. You only need to be faithful with the small thing I have placed in your hands. For a seed of faithfulness, when sown under the Spirit's leading, will yield a harvest no one expected. My child, I don't think you have to wait until fear disappears to act. Faith doesn't come after fear leaves. It arises while fear is still present. I am not looking for fleshly boldness in you, but a surrendered heart. If you would only dare to take a small step, I will multiply it into something miraculous. Just like when Peter stepped out of the boat, he didn't walk on water by skill, but because he placed his trust in me. I am stirring the winds, not the winds of calm, but the winds of sending. The things that once felt stable will be shaken not to destroy, but to move. You will feel a stirring inside, a holy discomfort, a sense that you can no longer sit still as before. That is me calling, not with a booming voice, but with a movement deep within your heart. When you feel like you no longer fit in the old place, that is when I am bringing you to the new. And do not be afraid if others don't understand. Don't be surprised if some relationships begin to fade. It's not because you've become distant, but because I'm removing you from what no longer nourishes you. I'm cleansing your surroundings so my voice can be heard more clearly, and so you're not bound by the expectations of others. I need you to walk lightly, unburdened, so that when I say, go, you can go without looking back, without hesitation, without shame. You will see when you step out. The resources will appear. What once seemed lacking will become sufficient. Doors that looked shut will open not by human strength, but because I have gone ahead. I never call without providing. I never send without preparing. And with every step you take, a new foundation will rise beneath your feet. You will not fall, because I am your solid ground. My child, I am lighting you like a lamp, not so you can shine for yourself, but to light the path for those who are lost. You are not the light, but you carry the light, and if you remain faithful, that light will pierce the darkest places, and the enemy will be forced to retreat. For every obedient step you take is a retreating step for the darkness. So do not delay. Do not wait for everything to be perfectly arranged. I am calling you now in this very state. Even when you feel unready, what I am seeking is a willing heart, and yours is already prepared. My child, when I send you, I do not send you into an empty journey. I equip you with everything you need to walk it. Not just guidance, but protection, wisdom, and inner strength. A calling is not just a command, it is a divine transfer. When I say, go, I also declare, I will be with you. And if I am with you, who can stand against you? You will step out. And with every step, you will experience a new facet of me. The things you couldn't comprehend while staying in the safe zone will now come alive. You will see that I am not only the comforter in the valley, but the warrior on the battlefield, not only the father in the secret place, but the king who leads the army. And, my child, you are no longer just the wounded one who has been healed. You are becoming a warrior clothed in glory from on high. Even so, you must understand this. Not everyone will applaud when you obey my call. Not everyone will see what I am doing in you. Some will doubt. Some will speak against you. Some, out of envy, will try to diminish you. But my child, the light I've placed within you does not depend on human recognition. The only affirmation you need comes from me. When I affirm you, no silence, no rejection, and no resistance can stop what I have ordained. You do not need to prove yourself. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. When I send, I also confirm. I will validate you through the fruit, through the presence, through the transformation you carry. You won't need trumpets or eloquent words, just my presence through you will cause the enemy to tremble and awaken hearts. Do not let misunderstanding shake you. You are not called to please people, you are called to please me. And don't be surprised if the battle intensifies. The calling comes with the testing. As you enter new territory, new resistance will arise. But do not fear. Every time the enemy tries to intimidate, remember, I have equipped you not with carnal weapons, but with righteousness, truth, and faith. These are the spiritual armor I clothe you with. No weapon forged against you will prevail. For you do not go alone. You go in my name. When you're weary, I will renew you. When you're lost, I will lead you. When you're disoriented, I will become your light. And when you feel weak, that is when my power will be most fully revealed. You do not need to be strong to be used by me, only honest. I do not build my kingdom on pretense. I only work with what is real, genuine faith. Genuine repentance. Genuine hunger. My child, I have not only called you to serve, but to walk in relationship with me. The calling does not separate you from me, on the contrary. It draws you closer. Each day, you will need me more. Each step, you will seek me more. And that is exactly what I desire, not a high-performing servant, but a deeply dependent child. Do not measure success by the amount of work, but by how much you rely on me. I will speak to you step by step, not always the full plan. Sometimes I will only show you enough to move forward, not because I want to hide, but because I want you to learn trust. If I showed you everything at once, you would lean on understanding, not on me. But if I reveal little by little, you will walk with faith, one step at a time. And in that slow pace, you will learn stability. Never forget humility. Even if I lift you up, even if people begin to seek you, even if your words carry influence, remember, it all comes from me. Do not let what I give pull you away from me. Do not let power make you lose gentleness. You are not called to dominate, you are called to serve. True authority does not come from loud voices, but from a humble heart. You do not need to grasp for control, only to keep your heart pure. When you guard your heart from ambition, envy, or pride, that is when I can do even more through you. For I do not seek the capable, I seek the tender-hearted. And if you keep yourself that way, I will do through you what you've never even dreamed of. Miracles will happen not through effort, but through presence. Doors will open not because you pounded on them, but because I went before you. So live within the calling as one who is anointed, yet also as a child holding the Father's hand. Let not success carry you away. Let not failure hold you back. Walk forward in trust, in humility, and in the deep assurance that I am with you. My child, before you can go further in your calling, you must first know one thing, not what you must do, but who you are. There is no knowledge more crucial than seeing yourself through my lens. For if you don't know who you are, you will be easily swayed by the voices around you. You'll seek affirmation from others, live to please the crowd, and gradually lose yourself amid applause or criticism. But I did not create you to be shaken like that. I formed you with a firm identity, one not defined by your birthplace, your circumstances, or your past. It comes from me, and what I define, no one can erase. When I call you my child, it is not a metaphor, it is a spiritual reality sealed by the blood of the Lamb. No one can undo that, not even you. You are not a mistake, you are not your past, nor the rejection that others have imposed upon you. You are chosen, redeemed by blood. You are beloved not because you've done anything to deserve it, but because I predestined you to be loved. You are the one I formed from dust, into whom I breathed my very breath, and that breath still remains in you to this day. You need to understand this deeply, because on the journey ahead, there will be moments when you are tested by the very things you thought you had already overcome. Doubt, shame, fear, comparison, they will return, not to destroy you, but to see whether you now stand firm. And in those moments, if your identity is uncertain, you will waver. But if you know who you are in me, nothing will be able to shake you. My child, the enemy hates you precisely because you are mine. He is not intimidated by the gifted, but by those who know to whom they belong. He does not fear a loud voice, but a surrendered heart. He is not threatened by hurried steps, but by those who walk with confidence. Knowing this truth, I do not walk alone. The Almighty goes before me. That certainty makes the darkness retreat. You do not need to strive to make yourself worthy. You only need to step into the place I've already appointed for you. There's no need to compete. No need to seize by your own strength. I have made the way ready. And when you step into it, you will see. What I've prepared fits you perfectly. No one else can take your place. Your role in my kingdom is unique. It cannot be replaced. You do not need to imitate anyone to be useful. You only need to be fully yourself, filled with me. Do not let distorted voices define you. Some may bring up your past. Some may point out your weaknesses. Some may impose limits based on their view of life. But you do not need to argue. Let my presence within you be your answer. Let the fruit of your life speak for itself. Let the transformation from within be the very thing that compels the enemy to admit, this one is no longer the same. This one carries something of heaven. And never forget, when your heart is weary, you can come to me. You don't have to be strong all the time. You may pour out your heart. You may weep. You may lay your burdens down before me. I did not send you into battle only to abandon you. I send you, and I also go with you. I place you in darkness. Yet I am the one who brings the light. And when you remember this, the weight will turn into wonder, for to be called, to be used, and to be held is a tremendous privilege. Don't ever think you are invisible. I see you. I remember every silent act of obedience, every hidden tear you've cried, every faithful choice, even when no one applauded. And those seemingly small things testify to your true identity. No certificate, no award needed, because they are engraved on my hand. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are ever before me. Isaiah 49:16. What greater proof could there be? So stand firm. Let your understanding of who you are in me become your root. When the storms come, that root will keep you from breaking. When the light shines, that root will keep you from pride. And as you walk through the fields of souls, sowing what I've entrusted to you, that root will keep you from being shaken by the reactions of others. For you know you don't act to be recognized, but because you have been loved, chosen, and sent. When I look at you, I see one who has passed through fire, one who was tested but not broken, one who has learned to love through pain, to persevere in disappointment, and to stand firm in the unknown. And because of that, I can now entrust you with greater things, not because of your talent, but because you allowed me to shape you. And what I have molded, I will use to reveal my glory in the earth. You do not need to perform extraordinary acts to prove you are called. It is your faithfulness in the ordinary that confirms you belong to me. And from that place, I will move gently, deeply, unexpectedly but undeniably. My child, it is time for you to step into the season I have long prepared in secret. Everything in the spirit realm has now reached the moment of divine convergence. What was once only preparation is now taking form. No longer vague promises, no longer distant hopes. This is a specific time. This is the hour I fulfill what I have spoken. Can you feel it? That trembling within the sense that something is shifting, even if you can't explain it. That is the sign that heaven has opened, and the wind of the Holy Spirit is redirecting to bring you into the promised land. No longer the wilderness, no longer hidden away. You are about to witness breakthrough, not just in the outward things, but deep within your very being. The greatest transformations always begin inside. and I have completed that work in you. My child, do not think breakthrough is a single moment. It is the culmination of years of faithfulness. It is the result of choosing to stay when it would have been easier to walk away. It is the reward for prayers no one heard, for tears no one wiped. But I saw, and not one thing done from a sincere heart has been forgotten. Now, every seed you've sown in silence, in pain, in trust, is preparing to bloom. I know you once believed that breakthrough must come with great noise and spectacle. But no, beloved, what I am doing far exceeds your expectations. It is not a sudden burst that fades, but a steady expansion. It is not like a gust of wind that disappears, but like the rising sun, slow, sure, unstoppable. With each day, light will spread. With each step, the promised land draws nearer. There are things you believed were dead dreams, gifts, desires that seemed lost forever. But I say, they are not dead. They were only asleep. And now, I call them to awaken. As I once called Lazarus out of the tomb, today I speak to every forgotten part of you. Rise. Life is being breathed in again. You will see that what you thought was an ending was really a turning point. What seemed delayed was perfectly timed, for I am never late, and I never miss a moment. Do not be surprised if you begin to see movement around you, new people arriving, unexpected doors opening, random conversations laced with heavenly clues. These are not coincidences. They are my orchestration. The connections you need, I am bringing. The places you're meant to stand, I am unlocking. The resources you require, I am preparing. Everything will come together on time, in place, nothing lacking, nothing wasted. Even so, I must remind you, in the midst of breakthrough, guard your heart with humility. Do not let the newness draw you away from me. Remember, it was in the valley of intimacy that I shaped the vessel I now use at the mountaintop. If you keep your heart soft, I will keep pouring. If you remember your source, you will never run dry. For outward success without inward depth is but an empty echo. But when your soul is deep, everything you touch will be saturated with my spirit. I am not merely blessing you, I am accelerating you. What normally takes years, I will accomplish in a single season, not because you demanded it, but because you are ready. I am never rushed, but I am never late. When I see a heart mature, I do not hesitate to open heaven. And now, the heavens are responding. You don't need to push. You don't need to scramble. Simply walk in trust. And let me go before you. Some will look at you and wonder. They will ask, why you, why now? And I will make it known, because you stayed with me when no one saw. Because you remained when others walked away. Because you listened when no one understood. And in that silence, you became an instrument for my kingdom. Now I am bringing you forth not to display yourself, but so that I may be glorified. And you will not only witness breakthrough for yourself, those around you, your family, friends, community, will partake in what I am doing. The blessing upon you will overflow. I will use you as a vessel not just to receive, but to release. You will become a reservoir and a stream of life, a flow that does not run dry, because it springs from me. So, open your heart. Lay down the fear that says, I'm not worthy. Cast aside the thought that good things aren't for me. I am proving the opposite, not because you are perfect, but because I am faithful, and when I speak, no one can reverse it. This is your season of breakthrough. Receive it with faith, with gratitude. For what I have begun, I will finish gloriously. My child, as I bring you into the new land, remember, it's not only about entering, but knowing how to dwell there. Many have been given access but lost their footing. Some reached breakthrough but lost themselves in the whirlwind of newness. But you are not like them. I don't just want you to reach the height, I want you to remain. Unmoved by circumstances, untouched by applause, undistracted by fleeting praise. So the first thing you must guard is your vision. The new land is not merely a reward, it is a responsibility. Every blessing comes with purpose. If you see it as something to enjoy for yourself, you will live below your true potential. But if you see it as a position to serve and bear fruit, that place will become a stronghold for my kingdom. You're not coming to possess, but to build. Know this: I did not lead you out of the desert so you could build a palace for yourself. I brought you into abundance so you could become a supply for those still in dry places. Every experience you've endured will now become sustenance for others. The lessons learned in the dark will become lights along the way. The tears you shed will water thirsty souls. And when you live with the mindset of blessed to be a blessing, the flow will never cease. My child, the new land is not lacking in opportunities, but because of that, it is also filled with temptations. There are things that may appear to be from me, but in reality are merely distractions in disguise. There are doors that open not to welcome you in, but to draw you away from the path I have set for you. That is why, now more than ever, you must discern my voice among the countless calls. Not everything that is good is right. Not every open path leads to life. Keep your spiritual ears sensitive. Do not judge solely by outcomes. Examine the origin. If something slowly pulls you away from me, no matter how attractive it may seem, you must turn away. There is no gain in achieving success at the cost of my presence. I will never lead you into something where my presence does not remain. And if you sense that I have withdrawn from something, you must have the courage to do the same, even if your heart still lingers. In this new land, remember to maintain your spiritual rhythm. Do not let busyness deplete your soul. Breakthroughs are not birthed from a packed schedule, but from resting in me. The more you are used, the more you must draw. Never live off the leftovers. Let each day begin from the overflow of the source, not out of obligation, but out of communion, because what keeps you standing firm is not the work you do, but the relationship you sustain with me. I know, in this new land, you will encounter things that take your breath away. Great doors, influential people, opportunities that resound with acclaim. But my child, do not let those things blind you. Remember the time when you had nothing, when you only had me, and I was enough. If today you have more, know that it is I who made the way. And if one day those things are gone, I remain unchanged. Your identity does not come from your position. It comes from your relationship. Keep your heart pure and your eyes open. Always ask yourself, who am I doing this for? If the answer is no longer for the glory of the Father, then stop not to be condemned, but to be realigned. I love you too much to let you exchange your divine calling for applause that fades. You do not need to strive to maintain an image. You only need to guard your heart. If your heart remains in the right direction, everything else will fall into place. In the new land, I will begin to expand your influence. Your words will reach many. Your actions will carry weight. Your prayers will pave the way. But remember, influence is not the goal. It is the fruit of abiding. You don't need to chase attention. You only need to walk in the right direction. And when I see you faithful in the little, I will place you over much, not to elevate you, but that my name may be lifted high. My child, I want you to remember this. True abundance does not lie in what you have, but in knowing who walks with you. The new land is not where you are to be exalted. It is where I am to be revealed. You are not the center. I am the source. And if you hold this truth within, nothing in the new land can shake you. You will walk as one who belongs, not anxious, not striving, not unsettled, because you know, this is where I've placed you, and I will keep you. You have entered the new land not to build a kingdom for yourself, but to become a stream in the midst of barren fields. The abundance I give you is not only for personal comfort, but so you may become a source of life for souls thirsty for revelation. I have dug a deep well in your heart, and now it is time for that spring to burst forth. Do you realize? Those around you are in need of what I have placed within you, not just words of wisdom, but signs of my presence. They need someone who not only speaks about me, but lives deeply in me. They do not need an expositor. They need someone who touches them with eyes full of mercy. And you are the one I have chosen to do just that. You don't need to be flashy or stand out. You only need to be sincere and full of me. Some are alive but feel dead inside, their hope extinguished. Some smile, but inside are broken. Some speak boldly, but their souls are torn. My child, I am sending you to them not to judge, but to bring warmth, not to preach, but to become the good news. And the true good news is my gracious presence flowing through you. You don't need to perform miracles, I will. You don't need eloquent words. I will put the words in your mouth. All I need is your tender heart, willing hands, and feet that know how to go. And I will act. Sometimes, a simple look filled with truth is enough to heal. Sometimes, one touch of your hand is enough to pull someone back from the edge. Sometimes, a seemingly ordinary word, spoken at the right moment, can unlock a soul that's been shut for years. Do not underestimate your presence when you carry me inside. Sometimes, your silence will terrify the enemy, for light does not need to speak. It only needs to shine. When you enter a space, the atmosphere will shift, not because of you, but because of the one living within you. And if you maintain a posture of surrender, you will become a refuge for the weary, a healing balm for the broken, and a bridge leading them back to me. My child, let your heart be moved by what moves mine. When you see a lost soul, don't turn away. When you hear a cry of despair, do not stay silent. Learn to listen amidst the noise. Learn to pause when everyone else is rushing. It is in these overlooked moments that I will use you to do the eternal. You won't need to strive to do the work. The work will come to you. Hungry souls will be drawn to you, not because you shine, but because you carry the fragrance of heaven, and you will see your hands reach those once hardened. Your voice will echo in once closed places. Your gentleness will shatter walls built from years of pain. Yet even amid all these miracles, you must always return to the secret place. For the root of all healing does not come from you, it comes from me. If you care for others, but neglect our connection, you will run dry. But if you continually return and draw from me, you will never lack. Overflow does not come from activity. It flows from deep connection. There will be times you feel inadequate, but in that very awareness, I will reveal my power. I do not use those who think they have it all, but those who know they can do nothing without me. So do not fear your weakness. Do not hide from your limitations. That is where I will reveal the surpassing greatness of grace. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "For when I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians 12:10. Remember, what you sow today will become a spiritual legacy. A timely word can save a life. A loving act can set in motion a change lasting generations. You may not fully grasp the reach of what you do, but I do. And I record every act of faith and love you offer. My dear child, the battles will come not to frighten you, but to awaken you, not to threaten you, but to prepare you. Every season of breakthrough brings resistance from darkness, and the enemy will not stay silent when you begin to walk in my purpose. I want you to know you have been healed, commissioned, and anointed, but that does not make the enemy retreat. On the contrary, he will try to bring you down before you can sow your spiritual seeds. Do not fear, for this battle is not yours, it is mine. You need only to stand firm in the position given and wear the armor I provide. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the powers in the heavenly realms, Ephesians 6:12. And you will never be alone. My child, battles do not always come with noise and chaos. More often, they arrive like a thin mist, sudden weariness, a loop of negative thoughts, creeping doubts. Sometimes they manifest in dreams that leave you waking uneasy. At times, it's the terrifying silence in your spirit, making you believe I have departed. But no, this is when the battlefield is being drawn. This is when you must rise in spiritual alertness. Do not rely on emotions. Rely on truth. I am here, right beside you. My presence is not measured by comfort, but by promise. And the word that has gone out from my mouth will not return void. If you hold fast to truth, you will not be swept away by waves of feeling. Let my word be the double-edged sword in your hand. Do not let the whispers from the shadows define your reality. Remind yourself daily, I am a child of the Almighty, covered by the blood of the Lamb, placed in the midst of battle, not to perish, but to overcome. O quote, you do not fight as a victim, but as one who already holds the victory. When I declared, "It is finished," on the cross, all the authority of hell was stripped away. Now, you do not have to win the battle. You walk in the victory already given. But to remain in it, you must stand firm, no compromise, no retreat, no surrender. I know the enemy will try to strike through relationships, through words that wound, through isolation. But remember, loneliness is not abandonment. There are times I purposely draw you away from the crowd, so you can hear my voice more clearly. When others misunderstand you, do not despair, ask me, for I know what is stirring deep within you, and your quiet obedience weighs more in heaven than any spotlight on earth. There will be days when you see no miracle, feel no sensation, only silence, sometimes frightening in its depth. Yet, my child, it is in these very days that faith is forged. This is when you choose to believe though you do not see. Choose to praise though your heart is heavy. Choose to pray though your lips are dry. And each of these choices, however small, becomes a strike against the fortresses of darkness. I do not require you to fight by your own strength, only that you do not give up. And remember, the battle is not always external. At times, you will face yourself the old wounds you thought were healed. Subtle temptations, quiet pride sneaking in. Do not fear the light I shine within. I do not expose to shame, I reveal to heal. What is brought into the light loses its power to control. And when you let me cleanse the inner room, you become a warrior that cannot be defeated. My beloved child, when you pray, something truly shifts in the spiritual realm. Do not think your prayers are like whispers in the wind. Every time you cry out, the heavens respond. Every time you rise for righteousness, a battle is drawn. And when you worship in your pain, darkness trembles, for it knows you have discovered the power of surrender. That kind of faith cannot be conquered. Know this, I will not let you fight alone. I will surround you with fellow warriors, those on their own sacred journey. I will connect your heart with those who share the same call. Do not close yourself off. Let me build a community where faith is refined, where prayer is never abandoned, where courage is awakened. Alone you may be strong, but together you are an unstoppable army. So put on the full armor of the Spirit. Wear the helmet of salvation. Fasten the belt of truth. Walk in the readiness of the gospel of peace. Take up the shield of faith to extinguish every fiery arrow of the evil one, and wield the sword of the Spirit, which is my word, to cut through every invisible chain. Do not be lulled to sleep in the land of blessing. Always stay alert, for the battle never sleeps. You are not just a receiver of grace, you are a soldier in my army. And if you stand firm, not only will you hold the ground already taken, you will clear the way for others to step into the light. I did not choose you to sit still, I chose you to rise, to fight, and to win. My child, you have been placed in the midst of an unseen war, a battlefield where light and darkness wrestle without cease. But you do not need blades and steel. Your weapons are deep surrender and unshakable faith. In my kingdom, the mightiest warrior is not the loudest, but the one who bows in worship when all seems to fall apart. Some battles cannot be won by action alone. They yield only when you choose stillness in worship. It may seem like a paradox, but it is the key to lasting victory. The enemy fears your song more than your argument. He trembles when you praise me through your tears, for then he knows you have entered a place he cannot touch, the realm of heavenly authority. Worship is not a feeling, it is a choice. It is the declaration that I am still king, even when you do not understand the plan. It is the cry of your spirit that says, even when the doors are shut, when the skies are silent, when the path is unclear, I still praise you. That is the spiritual proclamation that melts unseen barriers. In the heart of sorrow, you praise and the earth trembles. When you worship, I move. Not because you're trying to get my attention, but because worship opens your heart. It removes the shell of doubt, lifts off the weight of self-condemnation, and brings you back to your true place as my beloved. In worship, you stop striving to control, you surrender. And in that surrender, I can move in my full authority. Have you ever seen the wind move through a forest? The leaves do not shake on their own. It is the wind that stirs them. So it is in worship. I am the one who stirs the spiritual winds. You only need to remain still. Lift your heart, and I will do the rest. This is not laziness, it is trust. Not hopeless surrender, but faithful release. In that very place, you become a warrior who topples strongholds, not with weapons, but with song. Remember Jehoshaphat in Scripture. When faced with overwhelming enemies, he did not send warriors, first he sent singers. And in their worship, the enemy turned on itself, 2 Chronicles 20. This is an unchanging principle. Worship sends the heavenly host into the battlefield. When you raise your voice in praise, I dispatch my angels to act. There will be days your voice is too weak to sing, your heart too weary, your lips too dry. I see that, and I do not condemn you. On such days, even a whispered hymn from your lips counts as a mighty act of war. Sometimes, the weakest praise echoes loudest in the heavens. You do not have to be strong, you just have to be faithful. And worship is not limited to music. It is a posture of life. It is when you do your daily tasks with gratitude, when you choose to forgive instead of hold a grudge, when you serve others in secret. Every loving act, no matter how small, is a song unto me, for your very life is a living sacrifice. Let every breath, every step, every word echo like a hymn. My child, when you live a life of worship, darkness cannot linger near you. It hates the light that radiates from one who is fully surrendered. Even if it tries to strike, you will remain unshaken, not because of your strength, but because you are bound to me. This is the secret of spiritual strength. It does not come from you, but from unbroken communion with the living one. There may be times when you're misunderstood. Others may not see the battle you are facing. They may not hear the screams within, but do not seek validation. You do not need applause to know you're winning. I see. I take note of every song you offer in the dark, and in due time, I will publicly reward you, not because you demanded it, but because I am faithful. When the battle stretches long, remember, worship may not make the miracle come instantly, but it keeps your heart soft to receive it. It may not change your circumstances right away, but it changes you. And that is the greatest miracle of all. A transformed heart is the foundation for every lasting breakthrough. So each morning, begin not with worry, but with praise. Each night, end not with complaint, but with thanksgiving. And all throughout the day, in the noise, in the work, in the ordinary, carry a song in your heart. It need not be loud, only sincere. I am listening, my child. Sometimes victory doesn't arrive with trumpet blasts or wide-open doors. Sometimes it comes like a quiet breeze in the midday sun. It makes no sound, shows no spectacle, but those with spiritual ears will recognize it. For before anything manifests in the visible world, it begins in the unseen. And if you learn to listen, you will detect the signs of victory, even in the darkest hour. Remember, Elijah prayed for rain while the skies were still dry. He saw nothing, but he kept praying. And when his servant saw a cloud the size of a man's hand, he knew the miracle was on its way. 1 Kings 18:44. So too with you. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not overlook seemingly insignificant signs, for often, the smallest shift is the clearest signal that the heavens are preparing to pour. When your heart begins to feel lighter, even though nothing outside has changed, that is a sign. When your voice lifts again after days of silence, that is a sign. When you wake with gratitude for no clear reason, That is the sign that victory has been established in the spiritual realm and is about to be revealed in the visible. Do not wait to see believe with your heart. Change in attitude, in speech, in your reactions. These are signs too. When you choose silence instead of retaliation, forgiveness instead of bitterness, prayer instead of judgment, you are standing on the soil of the victorious. Because the greatest battle is not outside, it is within. And when you govern your inner world, all else begins to bow. You may not see the sea part instantly, but if I lead you to take a step, that already is a victory. For the enemy wants you frozen in fear. He does not fear a fleeting prayer, but he fears persistence. He does not fear a single praise, but he trembles at the one who keeps singing even without results. So if you are still walking even slowly, you are doing the very thing that makes hell tremble. My child, look again. You are no longer who you once were. The things that used to cause you to stumble no longer hold power. The words that once pierced your heart no longer bring you to your knees. The temptations that once enticed you no longer carry the same allure. This is a clear sign you are being transformed, and that transformation is the unmistakable herald of a coming harvest. Sometimes, the sign of victory is an unexplainable peace, when everything around you remains in chaos, but deep within you is a strange calm that is no accident. It is a miracle. My peace is not tied to circumstances, it is anchored in my presence. When you begin to feel me, even in the heat of battle, you have already won, even if the enemy has not yet fled. You may still carry unanswered questions. Perhaps no one has yet apologized. Maybe the money hasn't come in, or the outcome hasn't arrived. But if you have begun to see even a flicker of light within, do not extinguish it with doubt. Nurture it. Ignite the flame of faith from even the smallest change. For I often begin great things through what seems insignificant. That is my way, bringing greatness from what the world overlooks. Remember this: when Daniel prayed, an angel was dispatched immediately, but it took 21 days to arrive. Hindered by a spiritual battle in the heavenly realms, Daniel 10:12-13. So if you do not see immediate results, it does not mean I am inactive. There are battles being fought on your behalf, in silence, and your persistence is the voice that empowers my armies to keep fighting. Victory does not always arrive in glory. Sometimes, it is a quiet sigh after many heavy days. It is the simple knowing you did not give up. It is when you can look in the mirror and say, I'm still standing. Do not despise those moments. Heaven does not measure by achievements, but by faithfulness, and you are being counted among those who do not retreat. The closer you are to victory, the more prone you are to weariness. This is the enemy's final tactic to convince you your efforts are in vain. But my child, do not stop when you are just one step away. I see what you cannot. I know the exact timing. And if I am keeping you in the quiet, it is not delay, it is completion. I am perfecting something greater than you can imagine. So don't look only to circumstances for signs. Look within. Recognize the stirrings in your soul. Listen to the dreams I plant, the unexplainable impressions, the spontaneous songs that arise in solitude. These are proofs. You are not drifting, you are drawing near. My child. Now, I want you to lift your head and look farther. No longer with the gaze of fear, doubt, or haste. I want to give you new eyes, the eyes of one who has learned to trust me, even in darkness. the eyes of one who no longer lives for self, but for something far greater. It is time I lead you into a new season, not a season of dazzling miracles, but one of depth. I no longer need you to run after emotions. I want you to walk steadily in discernment. Not everything you feel is direction. Not every silence is distance. I want you to learn to discern what is from me, what is from an unhealed soul, and what is a disguise from darkness. I no longer call you one just beginning the journey. Now, you are one marked by maturity, no longer reacting impulsively, but responding with wisdom, no longer asking, "Why me?" but beginning to say, "Here I am, use me." This is the transition from being cared for to becoming one who cares, from merely receiving to willingly giving. But to do that, you must first have new eyes. Eyes to see as I see. Eyes that are not swayed by appearances or distracted by noise. There are things that sparkle but are empty. Paths that seem right but lead to loss. I want you to see as I do, to perceive value in the small, potential in the rejected, and opportunity in the midst of adversity. Do you remember when I chose David? Others looked at the stature of his brothers, but I looked at the heart, 1 Samuel 16-7. In the same way, when I give you new eyes, you will recognize whom I am preparing to walk with you. You will no longer choose by emotion or loneliness. Every decision will be weighed in the light of insight from the Holy Spirit. My child, I will also teach you to perceive timing. Every season has its rhythm. There are moments to move quickly and moments to pause. Sometimes I close doors not to reject, but to redirect. At times, my silence is not abandonment, but activity behind the scenes with new eyes. You will no longer act out of haste or fear, but live with the steadiness that flows from deep understanding. These eyes will also help you see strategy. Not every good thing is timely. Not every open door is from me. You will stop chasing convenience and learn to wait. You will no longer fear missing out, because you know I hold all time in my hands. New eyes will help you distinguish between what is good and what is anointed. Only what is anointed can withstand the test. I will also show you the souls that need to be touched. Some appear fine, but inside lie chasm. Some speak boldly, yet their hearts scream in isolation. New eyes won't just see the situation, they will see the hidden pain behind smiles. And when you see it, your heart will soften. You will no longer be harsh or quick to judge, but will approach with my compassion. Do not fear if your vision sets you apart. Many live only by what they see naturally, but you will walk by revelation. You may be misunderstood. You may be misjudged, but don't give up. Spiritual vision is a rare gift, and I give it only to those I trust. And I trust you. You may have doubted yourself, thinking you weren't wise or strong enough, but I've shaped you through every season. Through tears, I taught you mercy. Through stumbling, I taught you humility. Through waiting, I taught you faith. And all of this has laid the foundation for the new eyes I now give you. My child, these new eyes are not just for clarity, they are for guidance. Others will come to you for direction. They will need your discernment. They will ask what to do. And when that time comes, you won't speak from experience alone, but from revelation. You won't advise from logic, but from a heart that has walked through fire. This is when I will use you as a compass for the lost, and you will be amazed. For this new vision will open new paths Doors I once withheld will now appear. People I once kept away will begin to connect. Not because you are more deserving, but because now you are ready. Ready not to cling to your will. Ready to release what I must take. Ready to step forward, even without seeing the full plan. My child, now that your eyes have been opened to see as I see, I want you to walk as one who is sent, not just a receiver of grace, but a distributor. You are no longer a soul needing to be carried, but a pillar for others. I didn't preserve you through the storm just for your safety. I preserved you to send you out. Know this, a mission is not always glamorous. It is not always about stages, crowds, or applause. Sometimes it is sitting silently beside someone who's about to collapse, sending a timely message to a soul on the verge of despair, placing a hand on someone's shoulder, not with words, but with enough warmth to say, "You are not forgotten. You are sent not to prove something, but to be the proof that I am still moving among humanity. You are not just someone in the crowd. You are an ambassador of my kingdom. Every word you speak, every step you take, carries the fragrance of heaven if you let me live through you. I don't need your perfection. I need your readiness. Don't wait to feel good enough. It is surrender that makes you anointed, not past achievements. When you step into your calling, you will feel a shift within. What once worried you will seem small. Criticism that used to discourage you will no longer stop you. You will no longer live to please people, but to fulfill what I wrote for your life before the foundation of the world. And there, you will find your deepest freedom. My child, the most important thing is not where you are sent, but the attitude you carry. Whether you are sent to the spotlight or the quiet corner, the known or the unseen, you are in the center of my will. Some are sent before crowds. Others are sent into silent rooms, beside those on the edge of the abyss. Both are equally precious in my eyes. When you live as one who is sent, you will no longer crave recognition. Praise or obscurity will not change your heart, because you know your reward is not from people, but from me, the one who sees everything done in secret. And you will come to understand, my silence is not neglect, it is trust. I am silent when you are strong enough to walk in the guidance already given. Remember, Moses was not called in a temple, but while tending sheep in the wilderness. Amos was a fig picker. Elisha was plowing fields. I do not call the idle, I call those faithful in the small. And if today you are still working diligently at ordinary things, do not think it's meaningless. In that place, I am watching your heart, and there, I am preparing you for something greater. One who is sent does not need the full plan, only the one who sends. You don't need a detailed map, just one word. And when I speak, step forward, even if you see nothing ahead. For it is obedience in the dark that opens doors no one else can see. And your quiet trust will become the light that guides others behind you. Beloved child, the calling is not always convenient. There will be days when you grow weary, times when you feel alone, misunderstood, even betrayed. But remember this, I did not call you to an easy journey, but to a meaningful life. And none of your sacrifices are ever forgotten. Not a single tear you offer, not a whisper of prayer you breathe, not one act of love you extend will fall to the ground without bearing fruit. You will also come to realize, the deeper you walk into your mission, the more you must live in simplicity, not in naivety, but in undivided focus, Do not let enticing invitations draw you away from the place I have set you. Not every open door is from me. The one who is sent learns to say no to what is merely good, in order to preserve themselves for what is anointed. This is the discipline of those who belong to the light. And dear child, when you live in the right position, in the right season, aligned with the right calling, you will witness a wonder. Others will be awakened. You won't need to preach, only be present in the place I have ordained. Your presence, with my Spirit dwelling within you, is enough to stir what lies dormant in others. You will become a spark that ignites their flame, and this will not end with you. You are writing a story, not only for your own life, but for the generations to come, a legacy not built of stone or gold, but of prayers, obedient steps, and souls redeemed. And when you close your eyes one day, you will have no regrets, for you will have lived as one who was sent and completed what I entrusted to you. Child, even now, you have walked through a journey many abandoned midway. You have crossed lands of doubt, tears, and sacrifice, yet you have kept your heart steadfast. And because of that, I, the one who called you from your mother's womb, today bestow upon you my final blessing. It is not a reward for merit, but the fruit of your quiet faithfulness held fast, even when no one was watching. I know you are not perfect. There have been moments you stumbled, doubted, and even complained. But what I look at is not the slip, but your choice to rise again, to keep praying without giving up. And because of this, you have pleased me more than you realize. Today, I want you to know one thing. You have done well, not according to human standards, but in the eyes of heaven. You overcame temptations that seemed invisible. You rejected the easy road. You chose truth over convenience. And because of that, your name is written among those who do not seek fame, but seek my face. I saw you weep when no one wiped your tears. I saw you intercede for others when you yourself needed intercession. I saw you remain upright when misunderstood, and continue to love even when betrayed. You did what was right when no one required it. That is the pinnacle of faithfulness. And these things heaven has recorded, line by line, not a single detail forgotten. Now I grant you sacred rest, not retreat, but rest in your spirit, a place where you no longer need to prove anything, no longer need to strive or fear loss, a place where you live in the awareness that I hold all things concerning you, and nothing can be stolen from my hand. From now on, your heart will not be tossed by storms, but will flow like a river through the plains, deep, calm, and strong. I also place upon you an eternal seal, invisible to human eyes, but recognized in the spirit realm. Wherever you step, darkness will recede. The words you speak, if they are from me, will pierce to the very core of others. You do not need to shout. You do not need to prove. Your presence will carry the fragrance of heaven. For now, there is no longer separation between you and me. O child, I know you have been afraid of not being enough, of failing, of being left behind. But today I declare, you are mine, not because you were always right, but because you never let go of your connection to me, and I have never let go of you. What I began in you, I will finish. The dreams I planted, I will cause them to bloom in due season. Not one word from me will return void. Now, I entrust to you a legacy, not of possessions, not of fame, but of people, souls that I will bring to you, for you to uplift, to guide, and to love. You will not do this with your own wisdom, but with the love that has been poured into you. As I have been patient with you, so shall you learn to be patient with them. As I have believed in you, so shall you believe in them, even before they see their own worth. Child, I do not think this journey ends in silence. In heaven, songs are rising because of you, because you lived truthfully, loved sincerely, and walked with integrity in a world full of pretense. And that song will continue to echo each time you choose faithfulness. Each time you lift someone up with a sincere heart, live out the rest of your days with noble simplicity, not to be loved, but to love, not to be seen, but to serve, not to rise high, but to bow low, for that is the path I walked, and the path of those who truly belong to me. The more you resemble me, the less the world will recognize you, but heaven will know each step you take. And in the end, when you finish your race, when your feet slow and your final breath is near, know that I am waiting on the other side, with arms wide open, with eyes that do not condemn, but shine with pride. And I will call you not by your earthly name, but by your true name, the one only you and I know, written on a white stone, Revelation 2:17. The name of the faithful one. Thank you for receiving today's message. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we may continue receiving the living word together, building unwavering faith and walking in the boundless love of God. Amen.